But here, check out this next one. It brings range to a whole new level. How was a human able to do this? Hey everyone, we're going to be nerding out on this Avenged Sevenfold album. I think it's so incredibly underrated. Every song on this album is just a home run. And the reason I'm doing this is because as a singer and listening to this album, I'm just blown away by M. Shadow's performance. You just don't hear singers doing it like he does with that rasp, and especially with that range. So instead of me playing every single song and getting a copyright strike, I'm going to play certain segments of each song that I think are wild when it comes down to a vocal performance. So right off the bat, first song, Demons, right in the middle here. His range is, yeah, it's quite juicy. I don't know what note that is because my theory sucks. All I know is that it's high and it's hard. That's what she said. Especially on E's, like that's one thing I can never grasp is being able to get that range when doing the vowel of an E. I can't do it. It's such an art form when singers can sing that high and do an E, because your voice isn't as open as if you were doing an O or an A. E's are much more closed off. Okay, so next up, Girl I Know. What is the tasty part in this song? Let's see. I want to do that. Next up, Crossroads. I'm actually doing a cover of this, and I'm not going to tell you who I'm doing it with, so you're going to have to find out, but this is quite possibly one of the hardest songs that I've ever had to sing. And there's a couple sections in this song that I want to point out specifically, because when I was singing this, I was just like, how was a human able to do this? And it just took me attempt over attempt over attempt. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm going to highlight the juicy points in this song. And if I was a noob and I didn't know better, I'd probably think this is AI. Okay, specifically on this part, I'm always right. I'm always right. Now I'm singing that an octave down, but to sing it the octave up, it's just insane. I kind of did a combination of like a bit of like a Fry scream and I hit that note, but his is just like naturally sung, but it's just raspy. I'm always right. And the other section in this song. Like, dude, come on, man. One thing I want to understand, because I'm in the peanut gallery. I'm a singer, but I'm not a pro by any means. So leave a comment. How does his voice not crack? If you just listen to this, if you listen to Avenged Sevenfold in general, and just the way he sings, I want to know, how does he do that without his voice giving out or cracking? Again, I'm thinking from a physiology perspective, he's just built completely different, and it obviously gives him this ability. So this next one, Flash of the Blade, it's a banger, but he doesn't do anything like wild in terms of range on this song, so we're gonna skip it. Next one, Until the End. This one is a beast to sing, and I'm gonna highlight the sections that are just gut-wrenchingly high. I want that. But here, check out this next one. It brings range to a whole new level. What I find fascinating is that any other singer would just sound maybe like, like, what other dude do you know that can do that range with that rasp? Like, come on. Okay, tension. Let's go on a little hunt and see where these gems are. Yeah. Next, Walk. Pretty self-explanatory. This needs no introduction. If you don't know Walk, then you've been under a rock, which is under a rock, which is under a rock, which is under a rock, and you get the idea. This is a pretty tough song to sing. I don't think it's overly difficult when you have that ability to sing in this fashion, but we're going to skip over this one. So the fight, we're going to skip right to the end because that's where the magic happens from a singing perspective. Let's see. So if that sound was a pepper, let's roll it back. That wouldn't be a Carolina Reaper. That would be like Pepper X, because that is spicy. Dancing Dead. All right, where's my favorite part in this song? I want to play this chorus so bad, but you know, copyright. The chorus is so catchy. This is one of my favorite choruses on this album. Nextamundo. Almost Easy. You all obviously know this one. This is a different mix from the album. This is CLA doing this mix. Now, the original doesn't have dubs throughout the entire song. In this version, Matt has dubbed the entire song, and that's pretty difficult. So as you can tell, it's dubbed, but on the album, this section isn't dubbed. But leave a comment below. Do you like this version, the CLA version, or do you like the version that's on the album? The next one, Afterlife, another song that's off the self-titled album. This one's different from the album version because this one has more orchestral action happening in the song. But it also extends into the verse. I'm happy that they released this version because it's nice to hear the variation between both. And this next one, St. James, I just want to highlight 3 parts that I think are just so creative musically. And it's right at the end of the chorus when he says, "Our saints." Our saints. Numero 2. Our saints. Numero 3. Our saints. I love that last part. It's so creative. Light of the morning sky. So the next one, Set Me Free, this is another banger. This came out a little later than the ones from the start, and it's interesting because he has a different flavor when he does the higher notes. It's not as raspy, it's a bit more cleaner, and it's quite nice. Set me free. I love that section. It's just so well controlled. And I've heard interviews of people talking about Shadows that have worked with him, and he's just such an incredibly hard worker. Anytime he's gone into the studio, it's like, I'm going to do the lower parts this day, I'm going to do the higher parts this day. He just knows what's going to work well from a performance perspective, so he's really giving the best product possible. 4 a.m. I don't like 4 a.m. Not the song, I just don't like the hour 4 a.m. And this chorus too is so good. You guys gotta just listen to this album in its entirety. Just do it. When you're working out, when you're going for a walk, whatever you're doing, put it on, don't stop, listen to it. So this part in particular I really like. It's just the way he sings it that really grabs my attention. And this chorus too is so good. These songs really hit nostalgia hard. Lost It All. I really like this one. When I heard this the first time, I was like, yeah, just another song that's impossible to sing in this style. Run away. So this part in the song, it's definitely my favorite, and it's the most played. So here's the tastiness. From a singing perspective, it's very achievable, but to do it like that, it's like steamy. Last one, Paranoid. This is the second cover off this album. I don't think we need to play it. We get the idea. It's a really great cover that Avenged Sevenfold did. And in comparison to the other songs in terms of his vocal performance, like this is like, you know, it's comfortable. So that pretty much wraps it up. I just wanted to pop on here and just show you the parts that I think that really grabbed me the most from a singing perspective. This album is definitely one of my favorites. I wouldn't say it's in the top 3 of my favorite Avenged Sevenfold albums, but it's definitely in the top 5. And what I find strikingly interesting is that apparently M Shadows doesn't really like this album, and I've heard from other people that he's voiced on Twitter that he doesn't really have much expressed interest in this album. Anyways, stay tuned, and until next time,